so today we have a very special guest, special friend of mine. She's incredibly empowering, Miss Lillian Gray Charles. She established style therapy as a way to help women remove physical, emotional, and mental barriers that keep them from living fully expressed lives. Lilian is also a Lululemon ambassador, master Reiki, and a full-time cheerleader for us all. Lilian, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored and so pleased that you are doing this, Kelly.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited.
Good.
So excited. Yes, Lilian was actually, like I said, she's our biggest cheerleader. She was the one empowering me and encouraging me to do this. So let's get ready.
Here we are. So proud of you.
So excited. So I want to ask you first and foremost, like, what motivated you to create style therapy?
Gosh, so style therapy is a combination of energy healing and personal styling in the traditional sense. And the personal styling piece came first, started in 2011. I had been through a traumatic event in college. I had thought that I wanted to go into nursing, knew I wanted to work with women, was thinking maybe midwifery. But as I kind of went down that path, something deep inside me said, you'll get to work with women, but this is not the path. It's not the way. So backtracked a little bit, did a lot of soul searching, and I actually took an Oprah magazine quiz. And it was like, if you could do anything, it was like, it was 2011. And it was like, create your best career ever kind of quiz. And I ended up answering all these questions. And it was like, what would you never get tired of? What would you wake up excited to do every day? And all the questions like that for career. And I was like, I want to work with women. I love working with clothes. I love working with different types of women, shapes of women. I love helping women reset their mindset around the way that they look and feel, and creating that combination or making that connection between how you look and how you feel. So that was really my motivation, was to help women just create these small shifts in this thing that we have to do every single day, which is get dressed.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. When did you feel like, how did, I guess, like fashion and this pull to help women, when did that start? I mean, were you like, do you remember doing stuff as a child like this?
It is the wildest thing. I have done a lot of kind of like childhood reflection, and sometimes it'll just kind of hit me like this download of like, hey, remember when you said you were going to do that when you were 8 or when you were 16 or when you were 18? And yeah, probably when I was in like 5th grade, aside from wanting to be Whoopi Goldberg, the actress, the other thing that I really wanted to be was, I said, I want to help market ideas about women taking care of themselves. And I don't know how I knew what that even meant as a 10-year-old, but I guess my aunt once told me like, oh, there's this company making wigs for women who have lost their hair in chemo. And I was like, I want to do something like that really helps restore dignity to the way that women feel about themselves. And yeah, it was a very early age, very, very early age. And it just happened to be that the method is styling now.
Yeah. That's incredible. I absolutely love that. I mean, as you know, so Lily and I have known each other for at least 5 years now.
Oh gosh, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking, gosh, did I know you like first year of business? It's possible.
I know. Yeah. It was probably like right around then. Maybe this wasn't the first time we met, but I feel like I remember like we were at the Forum Athletic Club. We were about to take like a fast switch class, or maybe you had just finished a class and you're like, you're Kelly. And because we had Ashley Hasseltine as our like mutual friend. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, like it's so nice to finally meet you kind of moment.
Yeah. That social media connection that we all love.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have struggled with body image. I mean, I had a 30-pound weight gain, back in 2015, so 5 years ago. And
yeah, I knew you before. I knew you before that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, so I definitely, whenever I mean, that's why I'm feeling called to always like work with you. And I'm like, it'll come when it's supposed to, of course, you know. But with that said, you know, like everything that you say and everything that you're about, and whatever tips that I have been able to collect from you, you know, whether it's through your post or IGTVs, anything like that, like, I'm like, wow, like, it's just, obviously I'm an emotional person, but it really does tap into my emotions. And I am like grateful that you hit me there, because I'm like, I've been there, but in certain ways I'm still there. You know, I still have, obviously that's why I'm like, I have to work with Lillian soon. I'm like, there's shit, there's stuff in my closet from like 1995.
And you're not alone in that, Kelly, like by any means. I mean, it's almost like no one is unscathed by this mindset that, you know, we can't let go of things and that we have to hold on to things that we spent money on or that we once looked great and you know, a lot of people come to me and they're like, I can't believe I can't figure this out. And I'm like, yo, being a personal stylist is a job for a reason, because a lot of people can't quite figure this out, and that's okay. You know, I mean, you've done so much around eating and nutrition, and gosh, I've spent my fair share of money trying to figure out what is it that my unique, specific body, makeup, chemistry needs. And it's the exact same thing with clothes.
Yeah.
No more guesswork.
Absolutely.
No more guesswork, right? Like just getting clear about exactly what works.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to that, you know, like I actually just had I guess like a phone conversation with a specialist the other day. And I was like, I still am undergoing like some gut issues. And I'm like, I don't want, let's do this and see if it works. Like, I need a solution yesterday and 5 years ago. Like, my stomach needs to be healed. I am ready to put down the money. Like, and that's how we get in every area of our life. Like, sometimes we are just so burnt out or exhausted with things that we're like, and then, I mean, I just did a video on it last night. Like, your burnout, like, it's either you cry or you get really frustrated.
Or both.
It's like,
yeah.
Or both. Yeah. And I mean, I definitely have, like I said, going through the weight challenges and body image issues. Like, I remember like my 30th birthday, I was the heaviest weight that I've ever been. And I remember like borrowing a dress from a friend, which I like felt almost terrible about, because I'm like, you know, oh, hi, I gained weight. Can I borrow a dress? Like, that's almost like insulting, you know, to hear from the other end. I know she didn't think of it that way, but of course I didn't mean it in any way, but definitely took a toll on me. But I remember I was like, oh my God, if this dress doesn't fit, I have nothing to wear, because I didn't go shopping, because I have like a poor money mindset. I can't afford anything, like blah, blah, blah. And I just remember like sitting in my closet right before I tried the dress on. And I was just like, what if I just like don't even go to my 30th birthday party? It was the worst. But
yeah,
I mean,
and this is so common. This is so common.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the questions that I ask women often, and this is it's triggering, but it's kind of the reason that I ask it, to be honest, is, you know, whether someone is single, recently divorced, if they're widowed, you know, I say, what do you wear for your date night? Because or if they've, you know, been in a relationship for 30 years or 5 years, or they've been, you know, married 12 years with 3 kids, because this gives me an indicator of what they feel really sexy in. And being able to feel like you are the shit and that you are the hot thing in the room is important. You know, it's important for your relationship. It's important for the way that you show up if you're in a new relationship, or in an old relationship, in a long-term relationship. And I think the same goes for like birthdays and celebrations, or if you're attending a wedding, you know, showing up and not feeling 100 about yourself, it really permeates in every interaction that you have. And then people wonder, like, I don't know why I'm this, that, or the other. And I'm like, well, step one is like what you put on first thing in the morning is the same as like what you put in your body. It's like what you put on your body is equally important, because you're just sending yourself these messages. And if you're sending yourself the message that you can't have the thing that you want, you're going to be screwed right there too, you know? But solutions are always available to all of us all the time. Solutions are always available.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And I know that you have expressed this analogy before, but I just absolutely love your avocado analogy. So would you share that with us?
Yes, of course. I'll share my avocado analogy. I had to tell, I was I was with the guy who owns Kill Me Crazy today, and he was like, what do you want to eat? And I was like, I actually can't eat avocados. And I was expecting this like big, you know, whatever, because he owns this health food thing and like everything is avocados. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, this is so refreshing that you're not like making fun of me that I can't eat avocados. So yeah, I had a hard time even recognizing that I was allergic to avocados. I didn't know that dairy was not a good thing for me. I didn't know that oats were not a good thing for me. And so figuring all of that out has really cleared up even like my mindset when I go out to eat, because I know I'm super clear that when I eat a certain thing that it's not going to like damage my body and almost like bite me in the ass. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to have to go home. I'm uncomfortable. I'm mostly just very uncomfortable. And so avocados are very popular, right? I mean, we see them on like t-shirts and we see them on, you know, like I've seen like dog sweaters with avocados on them. But when I go somewhere and I'm with a group or I'm talking to a restaurant owner and I say I'm allergic to avocados, usually people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't eat avocados. And I don't really care. Like, I don't care that my body doesn't work with this thing that's really popular, you know, because why would I want something that's not good for me? It's just like, why would I want something that is going to harm my body? Why would I try to do something to fit in and be, you know, order off the popular kids menu if it doesn't work for me? And it's the same thing with the way that we look at our clothes. You know, why would you want to order off a menu that's not right for you just to fit in? You're going to be really uncomfortable. So just nix the bullshit. Let go of that story that you're not cool, or you're not good enough if you can't order off of a certain menu, and find out what does work for you. Period.
Wow. The secret menu items. That's what's going to work.
Secret menu. Yes. Ask what their alternatives are. and advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself. Hey, this came with avocados. I'm sending it back. I think it's the same thing. You know, someone might go, oh, well, I bought this brand and I thought it was really good. Okay, but it didn't work for you. So send it back.
Right. Absolutely.
You're letting this garment be in charge of you instead of you being in charge.
Yeah. And I think that that's what, I mean, me raising my hand too, but I think that that's what a lot of us do. It's like, oh, we'll buy something and maybe it's like a brand something. And we're like, oh, well, I have something brand in my closet, but like, I never wear it because my thighs grew 2 inches and I can't fit in it. But it's something brand. I just like, it's almost like you have this like connection of like worthiness to this item. And it's like, just fucking let it go.
Totally. That worthiness piece of like, if I just get this, then I've totally, maybe not around brands, but like certain styles where I'll get in and be like, oh my gosh, this is going to look so good. I'm going to order it. And I'm like, shit, I had such high hopes for this, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to wrestle with it to try to make it work. Just like I'm not going to try to wrestle with a relationship or a client or something that I don't think is worth working out, because you know what? I can do better and they can do better. Let's find something else more aligned.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that kind of like brings me to my next question. I was going to ask you, like clients wise, but then also within yourself, have you noticed the patterns between like what you do, like how, I guess on the business side, like your business, but then also how it correlates to like dating and relationships?
Sure. Oh my God. So, I've never been asked this. This is a great question. So I started with this therapist who is no longer really like as active as she used to be in 2015. And she had my number, you know, like I sat down on the couch with her in the first 3 sessions because she was like, we need to see each other a lot. And I was like, yes, we do. She said, everything that makes you so kick-ass in your work is screwing you in relationships. And I had to really take that to heart. You know, I am pretty aggressive. I am a straight shooter. I do not sugarcoat things. I tell it like it is. And I also I'm a hustler. So like, if I want something, no matter what it is, I'm gonna get it. And that can be a detrimental in a relationship, especially if you are hunting after the wrong thing and you go for it at all costs, no matter what the, you know, consequences are. And so I had to kind of start seeing my relationship patterns and go, okay, so I recognize this hustle in me that I want this thing and I want this person, but what is the consequence of this? And I'd had to really step back and slow down my dating patterns and be like, I don't even need to go down that path. That's just like literally not going to end well. And I know that I want it, but if it's not going to serve me like long-term, like this short-term gratification is not, it's not it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And, you know, and I ask that because, I mean, I have learned a lot about this too. I mean, every part of your life is connected. Every behavior, how
Absolutely.
you do one thing is how you do everything. And
absolutely,
I've learned, and I know that you're very knowledgeable about this too, but like your feminine and masculine energies. And when you are a boss babe and you're this entrepreneurial and you have this like go-getter spirit, yes, you're in your feminine, but you're also in masculine a lot because like you just said, you're aggressive, you know what you want, you're a go-getter. But then we almost like use that energy, and then we're still in that energy in our love life. And well, when we're trying to attract the guy who's the masculine one, but we're still in that masculine, it's like two positives of a battery. It's going to repel each other. So it's like, you really have to like, okay, like flip the switch and let's go back into feminine.
Yes. And I think there's a lot of, and I tell people, whatever kind of personality test that you want to get into, pick one and dive in. So like for a while, mine was the Enneagram. I love human design. I love astrology, all of the things. And really all of the different types of like all of what mine points to is this like go, drive. But there's also this part of me that really recognizes the beauty in the slowing down, in the creating space, in the holding space. One of the things that my therapist pointed out immediately was you can walk into a room or a closet or a client and read things very clearly, very quickly. And then you have a way of gently bringing that to the surface so that someone knows what they can work on. If you do that to every man that you go out with, or if you go out with one man for 6 months and every conversation is, babe, I know that you're saying this, but what I'm really hearing is this. And you know what would be, and I feel like we could work on this together. We could work on you, and I can help you with this. And now that was where I used to be. And now I am like, oh, if you need help, do not even come to me. I do not want anything to do with how you are healing. I don't want to be part of your healing process. I want you to take care of it on your own. Do not ask me.
Yeah. No, it's so funny you say that. I had a good guy friend of mine. He goes, Kelly, the next guy you date, don't coach them. Like, don't try to coach them. I'm like, I know. He's like, there's a fine line between coaching and communicating. And I'm like, I know.
Yep. I'm like, when I hear like, I really miss you. I really miss interacting with you. I'm like, you really miss getting free coaching is part of what I'm hearing. Like, you miss feeling elevated and like your vibration is different because I'm digging into you in a way that's like, I believe in you, but also go work on yourself. You know what I mean? But honey, that's a fine line now.
It is a very fine line.
Especially, and I mean, this is more about clothes than anything else, but I mean, God, first dates, when people know what I do, they show up and they're so awkward. They're like, oh, did I wear the right thing? I'm like, please don't ask me that. We are not in a work situation. This is so awkward because I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, not going to sugarcoat that either, really.
Yeah. No.
You know?
And you shouldn't.
What does that look like for you when you show up and, you know, do they immediately start going like, oh, you're coaching me, or is it just so subtle because you're just fluid and cool as a cucumber?
Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I feel like more I don't entertain the dating apps very often, but when I do, I mean, I do have my like occupation, I guess, listed in there. So they're like, oh, are you? Yeah. They'll like ask like, oh, I'm sure that you can like help me out with my mindset. You know, they just like use those as like little pickup line. I don't even know. I'm like, yeah, I actually probably could help you out.
But like, can you imagine saying that to like a dentist? Oh, well, great. Maybe I could go to you maybe you could clean my teeth for free. Like, what? No, who would say that? Or like if you're, a car salesman, oh, well, maybe you could just get me my next car for free. No.
Right.
Can you imagine? No.
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 Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I definitely, I started kind of like intentionally using the dating apps again, and like right around Thanksgiving. So it's only been like a week and a half, 2 weeks, but it was so funny because I go in like these roller coasters of like busy seasons, and it's like every other week, and I'm like, oh, whoops, like I haven't responded to these dudes in like 5 days. I'm the ghoster now. Like,
yeah. Oh, I've told so many girlfriends, I'm like, but did you not do that to the person? Like, someone might have done that to you, but did you not do that to the last 5 guys? So like, we can't be taking all this shit so personally, because like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're doing it to anybody, then you can't get so butthurt over even one person doing it to you,
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I'll get back to them. It's just a boundary. Like, yeah. I'm busy.
Busy. Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. Okay. So I want to ask you, kind of like going back to, style therapy, dressing your best and self-love. Like, what is the connection? What is that connection to you? Define that for us. And why should we do a holistic closet cleanse physically, but mentally?
Yeah. So one thing that I say is like, we're all, this is not new information, this part, but like, we're all reading a script that is our thoughts, right? So like, if you were to put all of your thoughts on paper and then read them back to yourself, would they be positive? These are the things that drip down into our heart space from our brains. I know that our listeners can't see us, but this drips from our foreheads down to our chest, down to our heart space. And then from our heart space, there's this reverberation out into the world. So if you are saying things, choosing things, being a certain way in your mind, then that's going to drip to your heart. It's going to show up in what's showing up for you. So if you are saying to yourself, I don't have anything to wear, I'm not good enough, my body doesn't look good in these things, there are no options for my body, everything that I put on looks bad, blah, blah, blah. Or simply, let's get a little nicer with it. I'm bored. I don't have anything decent to wear because, and then blame some other circumstance of why you don't have what you want. That's going to drip down into your heart as well. So when you choose this thing that you have to choose every single day, you have to choose your clothes. Like it's a non-negotiable. You get arrested if you go outside without them. So choosing this thing that you're not crazy about, and it's like part of your daily routine, which I think for most people it is, even in COVID times, then you're sending this message to your heart that like, like you're really not good enough to have the thing that you want. And you know what, this is really as good as it gets. Or my favorite, when I say favorite, I'm being facetious. My favorite word, it's fine. So you started your day with fine, and you think fine is going to get you some magnificent result. Okay. I would love to see you use fine and get some magnificent result. I haven't seen that yet, because just for example, say, I'm working with a woman who is say 35 and she's 5'2", and she looks young and she's got a high powered job, but she's dressing like she's 24. People are already treating her like she's 24. She's dressing like she's 24 because she's stuck in that mindset of like, it's not going to get any better. I don't need new clothes because these clothes still fit. But if she's choosing these things from a different self, who she was 9 years ago, then that people are going to continue to treat you like you're that 24-year-old that just finished college that doesn't know what she's talking about. I tell you what, this woman gets a couple new jackets, some new shoes that aren't scuffed up, some jewelry that commands attention power, and all of a sudden she's getting the raise, she's getting the attention that she wants, the affirmative attention that she wants, and she is seeing massive changes in her social life. People are no longer going, well, that's just Stacy. She always dresses like that. She dresses like she just finished college, but most importantly, she is choosing to level up.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you I mean, just because I do too, but I mean, a lot of us have, money stories. We have a lot of like fears around money and making investments and things like that. Is that a concern for a lot of women out there? I mean, that you work with, or that you've even just had conversations with, of working with you. It's like, I feel like that's like our biggest thing is like, well, I don't know, like I can't make that investment. Like, oh, I'll do it later when I can afford it, things like that. And, and it's not just working with you. I mean, just like leveling up their closet, like go shopping for that new pair of pants. You could get a nice pair of pants at TJ Maxx for $20. Like, you don't have to go get the highest top dollar thing, but a lot of us, and I'm raising my hand again, I was that person. I had a really poor money mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there are actually a couple of different answers to that. First and foremost, I tell people, I'm not going to lie to you. This is an investment. It's an investment to work with me. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment of time, energy, and money. And there's no way around that. There's no shortcut to this. The number of closets that I've done of, honestly, cheaper stylists, or even just, the subscription boxes, especially the Stitch Fixes and it's like going in and correcting a bad hair dye, because they tried to use a one size fits all. This just, if I kept more of these items, each item was cheaper. And I'm like, that's how you got a fine closet. Like, that's how you ended up here. Right. So one of the things that I have in my intake form are like, what are the brands that you're wearing? And I get a lot of money stories. What I try to tell, I only shop this, I only shop this, I only shop once every 3 years, And then, I usually will say like, hey, this is what I'm going to ask of you and require of you. It's not even a dollar amount, but it is a different mindset. It's not, you need to be spending X amount. You need to be shopping here. It's, you need to recognize that you are worthy of whatever it is that you want, period. And that is the relationship, that is the job, that is the home, that is all of it. So that's huge. And then I ask people what brands they shop, because I want to know kind of what their comfort level of spending is. And for some people, it's like, I only shop consigned Prada that I get redone, or I only shop at Gap, or, I've been shopping at Old Navy because I've had 3 kids, but now I'm done with my kids. And now I want to shop, more in the higher end department store. And I will meet you exactly where you are and what you're already spending. At no point have I ever told a woman, you need to spend quadruple what you're already paying on clothes. I'm like, let's work with your price point of where you already shop, but let's get you in the right items for your body, your vibration, your color scheme, your lifestyle, and your comfort level.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you make it work.
My stuff is like from everywhere. It's all over mix and match.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, I just had some awareness while you were talking. I feel as though, like I said, I raised my hand. I've been stuck in these stories for a very long time. And I feel as though like I have this, like, I'm a Leo. So I just have this like lioness, just like fierce energy about me. And it hasn't really been expressed that much through my clothing in years past. And I feel lately I'm like wearing these like tight ass bodysuits and like, just, it's like because I'm stepping into my power, I'm stepping into the shit I want to wear now. Whereas before I may have just like leveled down and just, again, like what you were saying, it's like, I didn't feel worthy to do that. Or maybe I like felt like it was too much, like, oh, she's in her 30s and she's showing her midriff, but literally last weekend I rocked this like 2-piece. Yeah. I rocked this 2-piece, like leopard print, like
good for you, girl.
Tight ass thing with like a little baby, like midriff showing. I didn't care if my whole midriff was showing. Like I felt so fierce and so good.
Yeah.
But in the past, I think, and there's obviously we have friends, and it's like, you see your friend groups, like what they're wearing and stuff. And it's like, some people are more conservative, some people, and it's like, you have to start to like, let go of like what other people think about you, and just do you.
I did a post about this a while ago, and I should probably repost it again. there's a big rebuttal of like people in my friend group, people in my office, my husband, my sister, my family, they would think XYZ about me if I were to dress the way I actually want to dress.
Yes.
And my biggest rebuttal to that is you will be inspiring people to do the same. Watch it happen. There may be some that are like, oh, who does she think she is? But you know what? You don't fucking need those people anyways. You truly, if that's the energy that you receive from people when you are up leveling, bye. You don't need them. And that might be really painful because it could be your mother, but that might be a boundary that you need to draw, to be totally and completely honest, So
absolutely.
I have this example. When I first started, I worked with a woman in her probably mid 60s at the CDC. I ended up working with almost every woman on the floor because the woman next, it wasn't, oh, I can't believe she's dressing like that. She was like, damn, she looks so good. And it was like this chain reaction of, and now it's everybody leveled up. Not one person was above everybody else. No, everybody rises to the top when you start to step into your power and you inspire other people to do the same with you.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. So that's why when my girlfriends are like, what are you wearing out tonight? I'm like, girl, I'm wearing this. I challenge you to rise to the occasion. Let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I love that. I love that. No, because I mean, obviously, like I
on the dance floor.
Yes. Yeah. Like, and that was it. I mean, I wore this little black number out the other night and I was dancing. I just like was so in my zone, and not to say I wasn't necessarily in my zone before. It's just like, I know that I was, I hadn't embarked on this healing journey prior, years ago. So I was probably numbing myself with all the vodka that I had drank that night.
Sure. And that was getting you to a vibration that you thought was the vibration that you wanted. And now you understand that you can be there at 6 a.m. in the morning just by choosing the thought that you want to choose. And
Absolutely.
I think that also goes back to the money thing, is like, who do you desire to be? If your desire is to never spend any money on clothes and to remain exactly where you are, beautiful girlfriend, go for it. Stay right there. I'm not your girl, But if you desire to live a certain way, to feel a certain way, to vibrate in a certain way, then choose yourself. Keep choosing yourself. Every step of every day, choose yourself.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That self-love is the best love. And I say it all the time. I'm like, like whenever a girl signs up to like work with me, or they like just join my Facebook group or something, I'm like, they're choosing themselves. Like, I didn't tell them, I didn't force them to like join these things. Like, they are choosing themselves. They're investing in themselves. Like, I'm just here to facilitate the healing, the journey, give them a little bit of advice, some nudge, but it's like, if you can fully rise into who you want to be, I always say too, like, and I know you know this, but like your be do have, like, I set my goals in the be do have format. Like, who do I want to be? What do I need to do to become her? And what do I want to have? When we do the things to become her, we'll have what we want. Period.
Absolutely. It's like someone might spend like X amount, and I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, but say they put it on their credit card, but as they've leveled up and invested in themselves, other people are like, I want her. I want that girl that's going after what she wants. I want to pay her to do the thing. I want to hire her to do the thing. I want her in my office. I want her in my boardroom meeting. I want her. And that's where you raise your financial value as well. And boom, it gets paid back much faster than you ever thought it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely love that. Okay. So wanted to ask you, you are an energy healer.
Yes.
When did you decide to become an energy healer? Like, how long have you been doing that? And when did you, I guess, what encouraged you to go deeper in your spiritual journey?
Yeah. So due to the experience that I had in college, about a year after I was assaulted, if you didn't gain that from what I said earlier, I blew my knee out. And it was definitely the universe's way of saying, you're not supposed to be here. We're going to take you out of this. We're going to take you out of your over exercising, you know, just crazy monkey in the brain. We're going to take you. Then I got sick with mono because I didn't leave the school. I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm staying here. I have the right to be at this school, at this small school. But really my body took me out. Like, it was like, this is not an option. You know what I'm saying? And so in the 14 years since, I've still struggled with some physical joint pain, that I've seen rheumatologists, I've seen specialists, I've seen, you know, chiropractors, massage therapists, physical therapists. And I realized like something is stuck in me that is like painful. And it was emotional pain that came from this stuck energy that gets frozen in time when something shitty like that happens, whether that is, you know, an abortion, or finding out that this person that you thought you're going to be with forever has betrayed you, and you get this pain stuck in your body and it becomes a block. So I started receiving energy healing a couple of years ago, and I've been to a variety of different energy healers with using different methods. And every person that I went to, they were like, you need to be doing this work. Like, you know, across the board, you're supposed to be doing this work. You're supposed, and I was like, I could never do what you guys do. This is like, y'all do some crazy, y'all be moving shit around. Like, this is wild. They're like, yeah, but you're being called to do this too. And so I kind of started looking into it, and sure enough, man, I realized that what I've been doing intuitively in closets for years is reading energy, picking up on books, listening to all the things that are not being said, and reading the vibration of what this human next to me in this very intimate setting, in this naked setting of changing in front of me and disclosing all kinds of, you know, personal details, that I was able to say in my mind, there was like, there's a block here. There's a block here. There's a block here, with no formal training whatsoever at all. No styling training, no fashion training, no psychology training, nothing. It was these intuitive messages that I would get over and over. And the same with just meeting new potential girlfriends or guys or whatever. And so I said, I've got to use this to help people move their blocks so that they can create a different story for themselves. But first, it's got to be moved. Like, this blocked energy's got to be moved and shifted and changed and healed. And so once I went through level 1 and 2, I was like, there's no way I can style anymore without doing this work.
Wow.
You know, for the clients that want to use me and are not on board with this, they're not I can't separate these two things anymore. I can't. And I'm so grateful that so many of my clients have been like, please, God, help me. Whatever other way that you can help me, help me. So it's been really magical. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so neat.
I'm so sorry.
No, that was good, because I didn't know the whole backstory. And that's what, I mean, that's the whole gist of my podcast too, is like learning the journey and storytelling. Like, I'm a huge storyteller myself, probably overshare sometimes, but whatever. That's okay. But no, I absolutely love it. So, you know, and what happened to you in college? I want to kind of, you don't have to like elaborate.
Yeah.
But okay, so I wanted to ask you, like, if you could tell us more about your experience with sexual trauma and how it has affected your life. You know, like from the very beginning of like when it happened, of course, and like up until like now, like obviously, as we just talked about, like you've gone deeper in your healing journey, but just on a personal note too, like how have you noticed like maybe that it's still there? Like you were saying, like there's still some like pains maybe, and, you know, some blocked energy. Like, what does that look like for you? Like, how is it still popping up after, I mean, that was what, 10 years ago now? Like that 14 years ago that happened. So yeah, like, I just want to elaborate this to our listeners that it's not a magic pill. It doesn't go away just like that, you know, no magic fix. So yeah, if you can elaborate on that, like how it still shows up for you.
Totally. So yeah, I was 18. It was this December of my freshman year of college. So it was my very first semester, end of my very first semester. This was someone that I knew, someone that was supposed to be my function date the following night to a sorority event. This is someone that I'd been introduced to by someone else that I really trusted. And the pain that manifested afterwards was a full body experience. It was a self-loathing, like I can barely put into words. There were suicidal moments for years. The classic PTSD symptoms of I actually was really grateful when Big Little Lies came out. Did you watch Big Little Lies with Nicole Kidman? And
I've seen like 2 episodes of it, so no, not like the whole thing, but
okay. Well, there's a character there, and she is displaying classic PTSD symptoms. And when I saw it on TV, the show came out maybe 4 years ago. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I went through. This is exactly, and I had already been diagnosed with PTSD, but I was like, oh, thank you for showing this on TV, that this is a real thing, that people really do feel like they could run out of their skin. So when I went through this knee injury, I was running and exercising, trying to get like, as anyone would say, and if it's like, get the demons out, I was running to the point of like, get me out of here. Like, how can I get out of my own skin? How can I just get out? I had like nervous breakdowns to the point where I couldn't go to football games or any kind of gatherings, and I still hate huge gatherings like that. I think that's just the empath in me. It just totally, I told someone the other day, I only go to large concerts like Beyonce and Taylor Swift with my sister, period. Nobody else.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
I still feel kind of like something could happen to me, and so those were just a few of the ways. Definitely challenged my body dramatically with disordered eating. I mean, for, just truly trying to disappear. Like, how can I disappear with mind and Xanax? How can I disappear in my body by running out of my skin? How can I disappear in my weight by just becoming a wafer? How can I just go away? And honestly, none of that is present now. I mean, truly, none of that is present now. And even when I dated someone pretty seriously last spring, and when I eventually told him what happened, he was like, "You're so healed from that." And I was like, "I really am." It's almost like triggers of like feminine wounding kind of things. Like, if a guy deeply, disappoints me, I'll get kind of like some funky pain in my hip, my left side, my feminine side, that manifests that way. I will say I recently wrote about this whole rape scenario on Instagram, and I was a mess that day. And the only thing that I could really pinpoint was that I was so mourning for how torn up this 18 to 22-year-old girl was. I was just grieving for her. I was so sad for her, but no part of me was like, I am a victim now. I am still this wounded person. It was, oh, Lillian, you were just didn't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
That resonates a lot. I mean, I had a sexual situation in college too, and I have a issue in my right hip. It's been persistent now for like 5 years. So it's something I've been trying to work on myself. And for listeners, and I know, my sister also does energy work, and it's just interesting. I always have told my sister, I'm like, Ashley, just, respect the journey that I'm on, because it's just been over the last like 2 years that I've really opened my mind to all of this. And so I understand from my sister's point of view how frustrating it can be to like be in a different space in your life and your family members not understand you and not understand what you're going through and things like that. And my sister also experienced sexual trauma in college years as well. And what you just said about like the feminine inside, the stuck energy, the pains on the right side, like
left
side, excuse me. Yeah. The left side. She has that as well. So it's just like really interesting. And mine's on my right side, but I don't know. But I know we carry a lot of our emotional energy is in our hips. Just knowing that from like yoga and stuff.
I mean, if you were to look at just the lineup of the chakras, root to crown, you know, you see that your sacral chakra lies in between your hips. That's men and women. In between your hips is this, I think of it as like this wealth of creative knowledge and goodness and rebirth and birth and all of these amazing things. But it's also our sexual history, our tensions around sex and our sex lives. So the fact that the hip is what is hurting is related to this, you know, if you were to draw a horizontal line, it's right there across your hips.
Totally.
And so it just, you know, when, like you said, any person that's not in energy work needs to be respected if they're not ready to talk about like this very, you know, quote unquote, odd concepts about energy. But when you can draw very clear coordinates and say, this is a correlation, my love.
Right. Yeah.
It's so affirming, healing, eye-opening to women to say, yeah, that is. Mm-hmm. And it's the same that I see with breast cancer. It's the same that I see with, you know, a broken home in the root, you know, I mean, all of these things. Sometimes people don't even tell me that. And I say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. And then I just let the rest take its course.
Yeah.
Because mostly I don't have to ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah. It just kind of starts to
unfold.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I love that. Well, again, thank you for sharing that story. I know it would, you know, hits home for many women. I mean, like I just said, just two people right there. I mean, we all, and what you were saying, it's like 18, 20-year-old Lillian didn't know. We aren't taught how to handle those situations when we're younger. I mean, even 35, sometimes we don't know how to handle those situations. Like that should be a life skills class.
Yeah, we learn. Which is fucked up that it should be a life, so that we should have to learn and have to be prepared for that is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like we need to heal the world so that we don't live in toxic masculinity and femininity that is only good, quote unquote, if it gives in to the desires of men on their terms. Right. Yeah. I mean, that to me is that's the life skills class right there.
Yeah. 100%. Yes. We need to learn about all of that so it prevents the things from happening from having to have that. No, for sure. No, thank you for that. Okay. So what would you say has been like your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur?
Oh gosh. I don't think I even knew this until COVID hit. But just this spread of my energy across the Southeast of driving and being one-on-one with people and absorbing energy and then getting back in my car and going to someone else's house and then absorbing their energy and then going to the next person and then the next person and the next person and receiving all of these stories all the time, traumas, heartaches, abortions, you know, miscarriages, all these things that affect women, and me really not like, how do I handle this? How do I hold this much space and also be able to have relationships at the end of the day with the people that are not paying me, to be totally honest, you know, to hold the space all day and then turn to someone that I want to be intimate with and also hold space for them and make it and have it not feel like I just do this for my work all the time and I can't hold space for another person.
Right.
Sorry, bro. You know, like, and to literally be like, I choose my career, you know? So the boundaries and the balance that this year has brought have been massive. But I think I was going so fast for so long that I didn't even really truly realize that it was an issue until around year 7.
Yeah.
And I'm in year 10 now. So it's been a journey for sure, as cliche as that sounds.
Yeah, no, but it is. And, again, I literally made a video last night about burnout, and we don't realize until it's too late sometimes. And not to say it's too late, but it's real far gone that you're like, oh, I'm in knee deep. Like I'm in shit. How do I get out?
I was more like in neck deep, like knee deep would have been great. I was like, help,
Yeah.
And sure enough, like I mentioned this, my last year's relationship was it's December. So ended in June, and it was COVID and not being in people's homes all day, every day, day in, day out, working nights, working weekends, working all the time, that allowed me to connect with someone that was in front of me and go, I can choose this right now.
Yeah.
I had to have that space, that space was like literally non-existent before. So now I'm like, how else can I get some space? How else, in a really healthy, way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's interesting too. I mean, just me coming from, the coaching space as well. And I've heard this from other entrepreneurs. It's like, sometimes we don't realize that we're not taking our own advice. Sometimes like we're in it, and, we just want to help everybody, and we're here to serve. And then our own energy is drained, and we're not honoring our own boundaries and that kind of thing. And it's interesting to hear that. It's like as a style, in style therapy, you're helping people let go of what's not serving them, and helping them to create more space. And then you yourself were not necessarily following your own advice, and I do the same thing.
I didn't realize it because I loved it so much that I was like, oh no, but I'm choosing. I want to choose this. I want 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 this. And then all of a sudden it was like, the minute I didn't have it, I was like, did I really want that? Or was it just like the hype of like wanting that, And that's why I fucking hate busy culture. Even this like boss babe thing. I'm like, the boss babe thing, like, know that there is a lot under the surface of that iceberg, right? Like what you see is this gorgeous crystal thing at the top, and there's a whole lot underneath, a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of sacrifice that goes with that. So now I'm like, let's call me something else, because I want to be more even in my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's, why I want to have guests on here that are going to share their story. And because it's icky, it sucks sometimes. It just does. A lot of it sucks. I mean, there's just so many, it's experimentation, one quote unquote lesson after the other. And, I don't like to use the word failing, because I don't think that we're failing in life ever. Like it's
learning.
It's a constant learning lesson. So we're always succeeding, even if we feel like we're like, the world's crashing down at us, but
it's a block. It's not a
block.
It's not an end. It's just a block. And you figure out if you take a U-turn, or if you go around it, or above it, or below it, or if you just wait for it to move. I mean, each situation and scenario is different. So
absolutely. Yep. Shift, transition, or pivot. Great words. What I wanted to ask you too, who's your biggest inspiration and why?
So I recently wrote about my 2 grandmothers. My dad's mother was a pistol of a woman. She was an artist. Like a classic portrait artist and landscape. And I am fascinated by people that, like we said before we started recording, like entrepreneurship takes a lot of different parts of your brain, and you're not always perfect at every part of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. My grandmother was a mathematician in college and then became a portrait artist. So like these yin and yang of art and numbers. And then she had this savagery in the way that she communicated. That was, she would write my mother, who was not her daughter, but her daughter-in-law, write her letters saying exactly how she felt about things. And And she raised her children around the world in a military family and just had this very broad, liberal, progressive worldview that I just absolutely has been passed down to me and my siblings. And then my mother's mother is this charming, beloved figure in our family. She's the matriarch. She's 98 years old. She loves quality and finery and jewelry and textures, and she really can't see anymore. But she will feel her way over a blazer or a piece or a ring, and she can describe it and say how much she loves it just by the way it feels.
Wow.
So there's this realization that I had recently that I hope that I embody both this communicator that is progressive and forward thinking and takes no shit, and this woman that really pays attention to what's important in the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we self-present, the way that she always talked about, her husband was a farmer. They had nothing when my mom was growing up. And yet she would save up every little penny for a really nice skirt or she just loved her fine things. And it wasn't in excess. It was always just right. She inspired Winning Wardrobe Algorithm, my course, because when I started studying the way that I put things together, I thought, I have no idea how I came up with this whole method that works no matter what your style, body, type, age, budget, anything. And I thought, there's someone else that dresses puts things together. And I thought, it's my grandmother.
I love it.
Yeah. So definitely both of them. Both of them are just, my dad's mother passed when I was in college, but she was a pistol, man.
Yeah.
She was.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's thank you for sharing that. I love that. I love stories. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
What lessons have you learned? What are some of the most profound lessons that you've learned that you would tell your past self? 18-year-old, 25-year-old Lillian, what would you tell her?
Oh gosh, probably just a slew of mantras.
Yeah,
just things that have come to me as I've gotten older, really just kind of spiritual downloads that I've felt this year, right before COVID hit. I knew things were changing for my business model and the way that I would reach the world just differently. Same passion, same energy, but differently. And I kept hearing solutions are always available to us. Solutions are always available to us. And I heard that almost on an annoying amount of repeat. And to gift that to my younger self when she felt like there were no options and no way that things were not figure outable and that they were either sink or swim, that if you open your palms up, as I say all the time, open your palms up and listen and receive, because the universe is constantly trying to bless us and constantly trying to give to us and gift us. But if we are in this place of palms down, I'm not worthy, you'll never experience the full abundance of life. So open your palms to the solutions, open your palms to the opportunities, the availability of blessings, and just know that you're worthy. And again, it's not an overnight pill. It's not a one-time fix. It's not a say the mantra once. It is I hate the saying, fake it till you believe it, or fake it till you make it, but say it until you believe it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. Amen, Lillian.
Amen.
Absolutely. I know it's I always have a minute with myself. I'll be honest. There's some days I don't see the outside very much. And I'll stand on my patio and look up at the stars. Hopefully it's a clear night. I'll look up at the stars and I just I just say my gratitude to the universe. And I'm open to receive more. I'm open to receive love. I'm open to receive wealth, all the things. But I'm so grateful for what I have and the lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
it's such a powerful thing. And it just makes me feel so empowered, but just so like with myself, but so connected. And I never really had like, I mean, I was born and raised like Catholic, but after I was confirmed, like we didn't really go to church.
You're,
really.
You're good. You're going to heaven. You're great. You're fine. Continue. Carry on.
But yeah, like, I mean, I just really haven't had like a religious or spiritual practice. Like whenever someone would be like, oh, like what religion are you? You know, if I was like 22, you know, I'd be like, oh, I'm more of a spiritual person, but I never even knew what that meant.
Yeah.
Never knew what that meant. And ever since like doing this work, you know, I practice like the lifesavers concept from the Miracle Morning, the book, The Miracle Morning. It's like, it's just an acronym, but it sets you up to like practice these methods of like silence, meditation, breath work, exercise, reading, affirmations, visualization, journaling, all the things.
We love to see it.
In your day, you know? And so me doing that, as you were just saying, it's almost like practicing your mantras. It's like, the more you do it, the more you start to like tap into yourself, the more you start to believe in yourself because you're actually taking care of yourself. You're actually tuning inward. And after a while of doing that, I mean, even like 6 months, I was like, this is spirituality. I am connected. There is a God.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. What would you say is your like life coaching tidbit, sentence, phrase that you would share with 24-year-old Kelly?
Yeah. Good question for me. I honestly would say really understand what boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
And not only understand them, don't just create them, but honor them.
Honor them. Yeah.
And communicate with yourself whenever there's a question, doubt, anything like that. Ask yourself the question first. Like, I am so big at that. Like, talk to yourself. Actually get to know yourself better. Like, what do I like? What I don't like in any area of your life? And really try to understand what's happening in the situation. Kind of like take yourself out of equations, aerial view in, and be like, okay, hold on. Because I mean, my 24-year-old self was boundaryless and found myself doing all kinds of nonsense. And I know that it was because of the fact of my trauma in college as well. I mean, underlying, people wouldn't have known this, that I didn't have boundaries and that I had like very little self-worth. I thought I was fine too. Thought I was totally fine too. And, you know, but communicate, like ever since, like I said, going through this journey, and my spiritual journey just started 2.5 years ago. Like it's been the best 2.5 years of my life. But like, I am just like, show up in that vulnerability. Like you can be vulnerable. It's okay to feel, it's safe to feel, like it's okay to express yourself, and, you know, just really, really tap into you and honor yourself. It's just so important to do that. And not void out. I mean, I was emotionally bypassing. Like I said, I would find myself in the bottle of a vodka bottle, like half the time on the weekends, and not in the right way. You know, like I was definitely, I remember telling my sister multiple weekends in a row, because she would ask me to like do things or whatever. And again, Ashley is on a different path than I was. So my idea of weekend fun was completely different than hers. And I was like, no, Ashley, I just want to go disconnect. Disconnect was my favorite word for a very long time.
Wow. What a word.
Yeah. I was like, Ashley, I've been so busy all week long. I need to go disconnect. And my disconnecting was literally drinking.
Yeah. Disconnecting your mind and body so that there was a numbness in between those. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I so hope so many 24-year-olds are going to listen to this. I mean, and I mean, 26 and 42 and 38, and all the things, but it is so easy to leave college culture and just keep rolling out the drinks and just keep going in that direction. And the boundaries and the why, you know, asking yourself why, what am I disconnecting from?
Yes.
It's just so massively important.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. And, you know, that was like one thing too, that this story has always stuck with me. One of the first times we like met and had a powwow, like you had told me that you had been like you started going to therapy very young, but it was more of just like a self-improvement tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I literally, like, I still, I think, have this conversation with my parents. Well, my friend Lillian went to therapy, and it's just like, I'm just like, I think it's the coolest thing, because a lot of us have the stigma that, oh, we go to therapy because something's wrong with us. No, go to therapy to improve yourself. That's it. Period. End of the story. Go to for just self-improvement. And nothing's wrong with any of us. We're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We could improve different areas of our life, and then different areas of our life would feel better, and we would have the things that we desire, because we're not sitting in that like lack and unworthiness anymore, you know?
Totally.
So I just like, you know, I even wrote this in my journal the other day. I'm like, after you shared your very vulnerable Instagram post the other day, I was like, oh my God, I like feel this so much, because yeah, it's like, I'm not grateful that shit happened in college, but yes, am I using it for good? Have I turned my like mess into a success?
Have I spun my shit into gold? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But yeah, but do I wish that I had gone to therapy fucking 15 years ago, and I probably would be in a completely different space, and my boundaries would have been honored, and maybe I'd be married and have 5 kids by now. Yeah, maybe. but
or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Yeah, and it doesn't matter, but I am grateful for where I'm at, and that's it. You know, I am, but you know, I do strongly advocate therapy, life coaches, mindset coaches, healers, energy work, whatever. Get the help. We all need it.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, I used to say at the end of every podcast interview that I did, there's nothing wrong with you, you know? And I think that now that I say solutions are always available to us, it's part of, it's like an extension. It's like the sequel to There's Nothing Wrong with You. There's nothing wrong with you. And if you believe that there's something inside that's not lining up, there's a solution for how you can heal, right? And so don't stop until you find one of those modalities, 2 of those modalities. It's not going to be in another human being. It's not going to be in their next purchase. It's not going to be in the number of likes you get. It's just not, my friends. It is in you. It is in you. It is in you.
Yeah.
And I also posted about this recently, that like, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of religious people that follow me, my ex-boyfriend included, you know, and there is this tendency for people to go, oh, well, like, you know, you're making yourself this God complex by saying that you know everything. Like, no. The spirit being that is God, that is the universe, that is this almighty power, truly lives within each one of us. So let's tap into that. Let's not make ourselves out to be these gods. Let's connect with the God that's already inside of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's, like I said, I mean, that's what I have felt in, you know, just going through this journey. I'm like, like I found God. I found God, and it's within me, and it's connected in the birds and the bees and the trees. Like I love it. It's so funny, like just how, I mean, because I say gratitude every day. I like write out everything I'm grateful for, but I find so much more beauty in everything now. It's so cool. It's like the coolest thing. And it's like, it's indescribable until you're here. Like, you know, but I just encourage everybody to just have so much more gratitude, because it really is the attitude.
Yeah. And I think that the last guy I dated, you know, was in awe that I didn't go to church, and that I was in this safe, peaceful space of gratitude and understanding that in the middle of COVID and all of these things that were kind of just disintegrating about my business the way it used to be, that I was trusting. And he's like, but you know, you're not going to church, and you're not doing this, and you're not reading the Bible. And I'm like, that is one modality to connecting to this figure that we're all searching for. And it's true. Once you're in this space of really feeling this, like the richness of being held by something greater than you, it doesn't matter how you get there, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I have a family that is, so on board with exactly where I am, and they're in similar spaces. And I know that that's not the case for a lot of people, especially in the South. So.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. I love your journey. I love your family. This has been awesome. This has been so awesome. I could literally talk to you about all kinds of things. I mean, we're probably gonna have to do a part 2.
You are so good at this. I'm like, I want to ask you the questions back. I know that you'll get lots of opportunity to talk the whole podcast, but I hope that it wasn't just me the whole time.
No. Well, no, I mean, this is, obviously like why I'm doing this. I want to hold space for other women to share their story and just help express and educate others, and let us all know that it's cool to be vulnerable and transparent. We're through crap that has sucked, but we can turn shit into gold. So
totally possible for all of us, for everyone, for every single one of us.
Every single one, in all ways.
Sure.
So I want you to share with us how people can find you, if you're, any, like how they can work with you, whatever. Tell us all the things.
Totally. So you can find me online, liliancharles.com. My Instagram is Lillian, Gray, Gray, with an A, not an E, Lillian Gray Charles. And I've got a couple of really exciting courses that I'm going to be launching in 2021. But the first one that I believe that everyone needs to start with is the Holistic Closet Cleanse. It is a mindset reset. It is it is full of all of the traditional personal styling things that I've done in hundreds of women's closets for the past 9-10 years. All those same questions that I will pose to you, along with meditations, mantras, all of the things that I am now infusing into this work. I also have Winning Wardrobe Algorithm, which is super affordable. So is Holistic Closet Cleanse. But that is like, if you're just like, you know what, I think I've got this clothing thing down, but I just kind of need to like refresh, like how I put myself together before I walk out the door because I haven't left my house in a year, then that is an amazing offer. That is the thing that like really will change the way you get dressed literally forever. You won't be able to forget it. And then of course I've got my one-on-one 6-week package that is called Style Expression. That is, that is my baby right now. That is just, it is mindset coaching. But it's also a deeply informative 6 weeks of this is who you are. Who do you want to be? How will your clothes be a manifestation of this woman that you can become?
Wow.
And in that very first session that they can kind of carve out of the 6 weeks, if they can't do the full 6 weeks, in that first session, you get an entire download PDF. These are the right garments for you. This is what your energy system is saying. This is your oracle card reading. These are the brands you need to be wearing. These are the shapes you need to be wearing. These are the colors. And this is like the style expression really is what it's called. It's like these coined terms for your personal style so that you don't look all over the place searching for who you could be in your clothes when the answers are right here. Wow. And then you also get a mini lookbook just in that one session.
That's awesome.
Powerful. Yeah.
That's so powerful. So much value. That's amazing.
So much value.
So much value. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And I love you so much. And I hope I get to see your beautiful face. I always tell Lillian she has the most beautiful face. She has
First time you ever said that to me, I was like, please come be in my pocket all the time. You were like, you just have my favorite face to ever see. And I was like, really?
Yeah, you do. I mean, obviously you have a glow about you, but you do. You just have this pretty face. You just have a pretty face.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited for this interview to post.
Thank you. Hold on, I'm going to stop recording.